Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel, Peace Tree Garage. I got my area cleaned up here a little bit. It's actually kind of clean for me. And what I want to do today is I want to take a closer look at this bus. This is a pretty nice bus, pretty much from here up. It's almost perfect. But on the bottom, it's another story. And the more I look, the more horrendous it is. So, got the front wheels off. I got the bus empty. Now I don't want to overdo it because I have never worked on a bus. I've worked on many cars, but never on a bus like this. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very intimidated. So there's a lot of rust. I mean, this is one of the Outriggers. I mean, there's nothing left. The one on the other side, I can literally pull down. Now, I ordered Outriggers, but it's not going to be as simple as cutting this out and welding in the new one. Someone has welded a plate on here, which means that the top hat or frame rail, whatever you want to call it, that means that that's rotted. And I think, did I see that from up here or down below? There's issues here. This is all missing. I've bought this piece. I'm going to need dog legs. I don't even really know where to remove the dog leg from. Now my track is nice and the door shuts good. But underneath here, everything is separated and falling apart. And see, everything's bowing. I was going to try, because the floor is fairly decent, I was going to try to work from underneath. But that means I would have to weld overhead, and realistically, I would never be able to do that. So I think I'm going to have to sacrifice some of my floor. I'll have to slice an area, slice it thin. Like I said, I don't want to just chop through and make a mess. But yeah, I don't know if you'll be able to see on the other side. Maybe I'll get a light. Maybe I'll get a light here. Let's see if I get a light that works. We'll get underneath here and have a peek, and you'll see what kind of rust. So this is the Outrigger on the driver's side. So you can see somebody did a repair here, and with enough Bondo and smoothing, you could make this look half decent. But I mean, when it's like this on the inside, I mean, you know, there's this Outrigger here and jacking point. So, you know, here's the jacking point. And like I said, I ordered these parts, but yeah, it's not as simple as just peeling this and putting a new one on. I mean, God knows. I mean, this has been coated in the past with some kind of a camouflaging black goop. But the frame doesn't seem too horrible, but all this has to be cut out, and this long wall has to be redone. I'm not a very good welder. So this dog leg, same thing, the dog leg on this side, it gets completely gone down here. But some of the inner structure, I am not sure exactly even how far I'm supposed to go in here, because you can see there's metal over metal here, so I don't know if a patch was added here at one time. There's a lot of metal missing in here. I don't know if this stuff is all available or not, so I'm just going to, I'm going to start lightly. I mean, this, you know, what can you do? There's nothing you can do with this, so I'm going to cut this off. I think I'm going to draw a line here, start peeling this. To reveal the structures underneath. I said, I'm not going to lie, I'm very intimidated by this project. I've seen lots of people work on these, but you know, I've always worked on large American cars, mostly Fords and Ford pickups. So here's my frame. Looks okay. It looks okay. I mean, I think this is salvageable. some of these rails, once cleaned up, might be salvageable. You know, there's so much, you know, at one point somebody sprayed this thick stuff on here to make it look good, but, you know, there's metal here, but where it joins in, you see? This is all supposed to be attached, some sort of an inner rocker, outer rocker arrangement. I was talking to a couple VW people. Anyway, this has been patched up somehow. Fortunately, my biggest problem is that, I mean, the good thing is the parts are readily available for these. For the most part, you can almost get all this stuff. Honestly, my biggest issue is my lack of good welding skills. But again, like this, I could tell this is all homemade here. So I would rather. I don't have a problem spending the money and getting the parts. It's not a problem. It's a little bit confusing still, knowing what to buy and what's what. But I've watched a lot of videos. And I mean, I do follow a lot of VW people. I've always wanted one of these, so I guess now's the time to just jump in and do it. So, like I said, the long wall, excuse the filming here, the long wall, I'm not even going to try to save it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to use a little bit of caution. I'm not going to go in there and just start hacking absolutely everything, because I want to try to preserve as much as I can. Obviously, I'm going to have to cut this out, but I'm only going to go very shallow with my cuts. Same with over there. See that long wall? That's had a rustic repair there. So there's no point trying to patch that up. Like I said, I don't mind spending the money on parts. I really don't. I don't mind ordering the sheet metal. It's knowing what to order, and it's being able to weld it in correctly. So I have welded before. I'm just not very good at it. But I got to get on with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start chopping. Now what scares me a little bit the most here is this part, because this is so nice right here, and this obviously is all part of the door mechanism and the door track. And I'm pretty sure from everything I read that this stuff is all available. It's just do I want to take all this out? You know, somebody suggested, you know, just cut out the outriggers and just re-weld them. But I mean, you know, imagine being underneath and welding upside down and trying to clean this up properly. Whereas if I did sacrifice a bit of the floor, it'll be more welding later, but at least I could be working on this stuff from up above. So what does this look like on the inside? I haven't even seen this one yet. Okay, so this is pretty much, if you can see that. Can you even see this? It's pretty much all wasted. There we go. I can see that now. Wasted, wasted. So this is, I think this is the side that has the inner rocker, the middle, and the outer. I could be wrong. One side has 3 pieces. I was just watching a couple of vids on this, but anyway, all wasted. Fortunately, the floor is kind of nice, but I'm gonna have to slice it. So, and there is, that's what I was talking about earlier, the outrigger and the top hat. So there's a big hole in that top hat. So if I can poke my finger through this, it means it's pretty bad all the way through. I know this inner piece comes in and just welds on these ends. And then once everything was off here, it'd be a lot easier just to come in and put that on, spot weld that onto the ends. They even offer a slip-in. It's called a slip-in rocker that has all the notches cut out. But I think I would just be like, it would be like a camo job. And on this kind of vehicle, anyway, where I live, excuse my filming again, these vehicles are expensive. So, like I said, I don't mind spending the money on sheet metal. As an example, where is it? I bought a nice piece of door skin from CIP1. That's for my sliding door. This was only $104. It's got the beveled piece there to slip underneath, and it's nice and thick and looks really good. Now the thing is my door. Now again, that's not going to be that simple. This is going to be for another time, but a lot of the inner structure, it's one thing to put a skin on, but when your inner structure's gone, that's all going to have to be built back up. So, but anyway, like I said, there's no time like the present, so I'm going to start digging in here and see what happens. Okay, and just like that, we're minus an outrigger and a top hat. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a line down here with a Sharpie. I'm going to slice this gently, and I'm going to start peeling this back and start revealing what's underneath. All right. Okay, so here's my line. Yeah, I'm going to slice through there very thin so I don't cut into any other structural members, if there are any. And I think I'm going to slice down this way too. I can see this is full of Bondo anyway. Same with the other end. And I'm going to gently peel this down and see what we discover. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so I'm starting to open up this wall here. I see there's been a couple of repairs here in the past, so maybe spot welds here at one point, because this is kind of separating in a funny way here. So I'm going to try to split this. It's still joined pretty good at the pinch weld, but what's this inner rocker here? There's absolutely nothing left of it up at the top. So hopefully this is all available. I think it is. So I'm going to attempt to split this down and remove this piece completely. Okay, well, I got this area all opened up, and I think I finally get the gist of this. There's absolutely no point in trying to work underneath. I think the best way ahead is to chop out a channel in the floor, expose these beams, and for whatever reason, they're very solid, which I'm pleasantly surprised. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to peel both sides. So everything to do with this inner rocker, outer rocker business, whether it's inner, middle, or outer, I still don't have my head fully around that. I know that there's been a million patches done on this. So now what I did, I cut back. I'm not sure how far back I was supposed to go. I just kind of guessed a little bit. So this way here, I will be able to clean up these ends. So then my inner rocker will go in, and I can either spot weld or weld around however it's supposed to be. And then the outer, and then the pinch weld on the bottom. I'm probably going to do little holes with plug welds, but that's kind of the same idea. And yeah, and this way here, I will be working. I won't be working from underneath or these slip-in rockers that you're supposed to go around like that. Now, I might peel back this floor a little bit more. There's a little bit of rod up here, and that way there, that would allow me to really work from the top to fasten that this outrigger. But anyway, this is the way ahead. Now, the front outrigger, I've got this exposed. Of course, I still gotta peel these back. I'm just cutting around, and I'm just gonna peel these back. I did this in my last project. I just kind of grab a pair of vice grips and kind of roll it like a tin can, and it kind of breaks off. This one here has a bolt, probably maybe for one of the seats or something, so I'll take that off. So I'm going to keep working my way back. That other outrigger, that's got to go. So I'm going to chop all this out. The floor is a little bad up there. I'm going to keep chopping. So I don't know what this video is going to be called. It's maybe for my own documentation. It's going to be extremely boring for anybody watching, but part of my process. And chop, 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 chop. Anything that's rot is going to end up in a pile like that. And we'll reassess after. Okay, I'm going to carry on now. I'm going to work on this area here. Might even take Might even investigate this bondoed area here. I'm sure that's ugly in there. But anyway, first of all, I will take this outrigger out. Okay. Okay, moving right along on the long wall. I just took out the outrigger and jacking point back here. And the top hat in this area is in perfect shape. Now, just beyond here, I thought these buses had 4 outriggers, but I take it that's also an outrigger. Maybe an outrigger without a jacking point. If anybody sees this video, please point me in the right direction. It appears to also be wholly, so I'm going to remove this one as well. I took off a little piece of the bottom here. This had been also patched in. I mean, it was metal for the most part, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to make this a little bit better. So I assume that this is also the, make it so I'm not blinding myself or anyone else. This is also some sort of an inner rocker, outer rocker, middle type deal. So I'm going to keep moving right along here. I'm going to remove all this. I'm going to take this out. Maybe whatever's missing inside this wheel arch here. I'll just cut until there's good metal. Same with back there. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe clean up that little hole. And for now, preliminary, except for the front. I haven't tackled, I think I'm going to leave the dog leg and that alone. I do want to take them off, but I'm not sure exactly how much to take off. And the B-pillars I have, but I haven't really looked at those close enough yet. So I'm going to keep moving along. Once I've got this side done, I'm going to jump to the other side. Okay, so it's been a couple more hours. I've got all the rust, or the major rust, cut out on this side, starting at the long wall. I have not touched the dog leg yet. So from here back, all the rot has been cut out. And I'm learning here. I'm learning as I go. So I'm going to jump on this side now. I think I'm going to go for a couple more hours. There's my pile so far. I'm going to address this side that we saw earlier. This is obviously a new piece. So somebody added this, what do you call this, the outer, whatever, the door track, whatever this is called. Unfortunately, this is nice and new and the door worked good, but the inner structure is all gone. So I'm going to have to take this whole thing out. And again, as mentioned, I'm going to jump into the outriggers here, and there's a plate here that shouldn't be there, so that top hat is obviously gone. So I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side, and I'm going to carry on here. Same thing I did on the other side. Actually a little bit worse on this side. Real shame that they went and installed this but didn't address the inside. There's just nothing left there. So unfortunately, that's all got to go. And I'm going to chop away a little bit in here too if I get there. I took this track off. I had the hardest time getting this piece of trim off. It was completely jammed in here. I took the window out as a precaution. So all the glass is going to come out eventually anyway, but I'll leave this for now. I took the door off to get this out of the way. So now I'm going back underneath and I'm going to take away the 3 outriggers and the rockers and the inners and whatever else is rotted. Okay, it's the next day, and yesterday I packed it in. I did a couple more hours, but then I had enough. I'm going to sweep this up here. My pile just keeps growing. So what I'm going to do is I started a little bit chopping into here to reveal everything. This little piece, just as I suspected, it is newer. In fact, it's so new that the label is still on it. And I noticed it's kind of, I think it's kind of spot welded in here. So I'm going to try to save this one. So that's if I can. So I'm going to take the drill out. I'm going to try drilling these spot welds out. And then I think I'm just going to keep chopping this way because it's all, like I said before, it's all let go on the inside. So, okay, so my work's going to continue today on chopping out the rust. Chop, chop. So I just rescued this piece here. I'm not sure if it was worth it, to be honest. A piece like this is probably not that expensive, and it did get mangled a little bit at the top, but certainly workable. And like I mentioned, it still had the label on it, so fairly new piece. So you can see underneath, that was, you know, they put that new piece on. That was just a cover up because this is what we're dealing with. So like the other side, only I think it's actually a little bit worse. So I'm just going to keep moving along. A little bit of an update on my de-rusting. So I got pretty much the whole door track and everything, the whole mechanism gone. So I'm a little bit intimidated by that, I'm not going to lie. The door track was perfect. Everything was good. Again, everything that was behind and underneath was completely shot. So I took out my reciprocating saw and I cut along this way, this way, this way, this way. And then I've been using a grinding wheel to get at these spot welds. So these little girders, these girders are good. These 3 girders are good, which is good news. This top hat is completely shot, at least up to this point. Same with that one. I've got the 3rd outrigger all gone. And in here, I'm not even really sure. I mean, is what it is. Like I said, I went, as long as there's good metal, the bad metal goes. Now, I cut here. A little bit hard to see here. I don't really know where. I don't know if I took too much away or not enough. I don't know. This little piece here, this one's got to go. I just gotta get in this little corner here and get this one gone. I left this structure here. I took off this skin. I'm going to do a little bit more back here. And that's going to be it for now, I think. I'm just going to continue cleaning these up. And back up here with the bulge, I think they call this the bulge piece. They had put a plate here because the other top hat is also non-existent, the one that sat above the front outrigger. So the bus has definitely gotten lighter, or it's getting lighter as we speak. I think I got the major stuff chopped out. So again, like I said, now I'm just going to go back and see. This would be a piece of this inner rocker that spot welds onto the end of this outrigger. No, not outrigger. These are I don't even know what these are called. Beams, whatever. I know those. They call those top hats girders, beams. I'm not even sure. Anyway, surprisingly, these are pretty good. So I'm just going to carry on, do a little bit more cleaning up, maybe do some more trimming away, and yeah, I'm going to have to get on the internet and start ordering some metal. Again, I don't know if I showed these or not. Where are they? I did already order my outriggers. So I have my outriggers. I'm not even sure. They're all labeled. So outriggers and jacking points. Like I said, I would rather chop out everything. Although I'm not a great welder. At least when I start with something new. You know, I can drill here. I can spot weld. This stuff is nice and thick, so it'll be easier to weld than just trying to put in little patches here and there. I do have, like I mentioned, I got the B pillars already. I may look at those. Now, this was a little bit of a kit. This was from CIP1. I thought the bus had 4 outriggers with jacking points, but it looks like it's got 6 outriggers. Now, I don't know if the third one going towards the back, I know that the third one does not have a jacking point, but I'm not even sure if it's the same or different. Anyway, I have a little bit of metal. A little bit of metal came with the bus. I don't even know what that is right now. To be honest with you, I don't know. So, let's, I'm going to keep going here. Another couple hours. I got the garage door open. It's, we're still buried in snow here like a bunch of fools, but at least it's fairly mild today, so I can breathe in a little bit of fresh air while I'm doing all this cutting. All right. I think I've done enough rust removal for a few hours here. A few hours worth of work. So I've swept everything out. So this is kind of what I'm left with. Like I said, I'm going to have to get on the internet and order some metal. Now, this is just me babbling, maybe thinking out loud. I found some more rot over here. So that section there, I would need a little, everything else is pretty perfect up here, but there's one bad spot there. So I suppose, you know, put some sort of a patch over there. Then there's also a little hole here. And you know, I can see daylight underneath over there. So at this point, I'm not sure what, you know, should I just, now that I've done this, all along I've been trying to preserve this floor, and then there was no use, so I ended up chopping all this edge. So I wonder, should I just keep going and remove the entire floor? I really don't want to. I'm going to go underneath here in a second, and I'm going to look, because right here along this wasted area here, which, I mean, I could put a little piece of angle iron here. Fine, that would work. But that's not really addressing the problem underneath. I mean, there's a top hat. This floor rests on the top hat. And if the top hat is gone, and then the top hat sits on top of the frame, which is, you know, this is not like I mean, it's a frame, but it's almost like not really a frame. It's more like a system. Everything kind of works together with these little, what I call little girders on the frame with the floor, with the top hats, the outrigger, the jacking point. Again, this plate, you know, it's nicely welded, and I mean, it's something I would have been tempted to do myself, but I don't know now. Maybe I should just keep going. But it's a question of where do you draw the line. I don't want to, you know, I'd like to one day be able to drive this thing, but at the same time, these things are, especially here where I live, these things are worth a lot of money, so it might be worth fixing it right. I'm just going to go underneath here and just have a look at these front top hats. There's a front top hat up front here, front, and then there's a couple of top hats back here. So I'm going to go underneath and just have a peek, see what the damages are. Okay, so here I am underneath the bus. So there's this wasted top hat right here. So I could bring it just up to this point, cut it flush, and just put a piece in. Then I could leave this floor. Because on this side, there's my top hat up here. It's looking a little rusty, but it's all there. It's all there on this side. What about over here? Hard to film, hard to see. So there's the continuation of this top hat. Okay, so it does go out. Okay, and it's completely gone on this side. I knew that. So I could get a top hat and just cut the ends off, which means from this perspective, the floor is good. I could just do my little patches and call it done. Now there's this transverse piece here, which is, I don't even know. I don't know if this is structural, maybe somewhat structural. This has a little bit of a, this has a hole here, this one, but look at everything that's involved here. If I was to, the only way I could change this, honestly, because I'm working on jack stands, would be to peel up the entire floor. And I'm going to try not to do that, I think. I could always put a little patch here, and then the outrigger welds onto the outside, and then there's a little foot that rests right up here like this. Kind of looks like, well, that's the remnants of it on this side. Let's see, this probably looks like there's a hole. There's a hole over here too. I mean, I'm going to wire wheel this again to reassess, but okay, so up front, yes, we could just do the pieces of outriggers and not remove the floor. So far up here, so good. Okay, let's look. Let me turn around and look. Okay, now here I am. I scooched down to the back. Here's this big cross member piece here. I don't even know if you can see any of this, but anyway, it is wasted a little bit here. But again, a patch, and then the outrigger goes on top. The top hat, from what I can see back here, the top hat is all there. So that's kind of good news. That means I would not have to remove the entire floor for the sake of this. I could just do this. This is the continuation, and this is where it's wasted. I could even just cut it off where it's bad. Yeah, I think I'm going to lean towards that. And this cross member here, this has a huge hole in it, so this will have to be patched up. I don't know that I could remove this. I don't think for now, all this this heat duct and stuff, this is to direct heat up to the cab from around the engine. This is all pretty shot, and I don't think this is really required. If I put any heat in this bus, it's most likely going to be one of those diesel heaters, or maybe just an electric heater. I don't plan on having air coming off of the engine and coming forward through all this piping. My plan is to get rid of all that. It's pretty crusty and rotted, and yeah, if it's not required, and I don't think it's required for your motor vehicle inspection or anything, I'm going to want all this gone. And if anybody can answer me, these two cross sections, are these structural or no? Because if they're not structural, they could even potentially be completely removed. They're very thin, so I don't know. But again, this isn't really a full frame vehicle. It's more of a frame system. So anyway, enough of my babbling. I think for now, my plan will be to patch these up and order some top hats and get all the metal for the outer sides and start rebuilding this a little bit. Everything down here. I think the main frame might have some pretty good potential. I will have to take a wire wheel to this at some point. But for now, I think I'm going to leave this. I believe I'm going to just get on the blower and start ordering some metal. That's going to wrap it up for this video of rust removal. I'm not sure what I'm going to title it, something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video.